Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Hit that subscribe button, definitely share the video, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and don't forget about that book, Blood on the Razor Wire. Today, I'm bringing back one of the guests, DL. I mean, we did this video a few days ago, and there was a bunch of backlash from people, man, from our city and from some other places. Backlash towards him, some backlash towards me. There were some positive comments. But we definitely had to come on for a part two. And, DL had reached out to me and said, yo, man, I want to come back on. So here we are. DL, man, I know you got some things you want to talk about, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I felt like we needed to address a lot of the backlash that we received. You know what I'm saying? I received a lot of backlash, man, from the first video. And I think that the people just didn't really understand what the program was geared towards and what we was trying to do. You know what I mean? Because I know and understand that this format here is geared towards helping to try and stop the youth from committing crime before they commit the crime. You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
So, my thing is that, man, I just wanted to really get up on here and address that to the people, to let the people know that sometimes, man, certain things are graphic. You understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of people say, well, a lot of names was mentioned. And I understand that a lot of names was mentioned. And I do understand with the utmost respect, man, that, some of those people who lost their lives, some of those people that were impacted by crime, those wounds begin to open back up, man. You know what I'm saying? Some of those wounds that they thought were healed, those wounds open back up, and then it began to make them feel a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because a lot of people, man, are emotional, man, by nature. So they don't really think from a logical perspective. And that's not to degrade anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because we are all emotional creatures, man, to a certain extent. You understand what I'm saying? So I know that it opened up a lot of wounds, man, and it hurt a lot of people to hear those stories, to hear what was said. But I made a statement, man, and I let a lot of people know, you know what I'm saying, that nothing that we discussed, man, it was all the truth. It wasn't like we discussed anything that was a lie, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Let me say this too, right? The things that we discussed, it wasn't like that, this wasn't out already in the public forum, because this was all stuff that was talked about during the trial. You guys had a long trial. Most of this stuff was public record. A lot of people don't understand that they could go down there and find out certain information by reading, the transcripts from the trial and things that Ted Francis had testified to. So I know a lot of people were upset, but I mean, this was public record, and I feel you, man, that it opens up wounds. I had a woman reach out to me, man. She seemed like, man, a super educated woman, man, professional. I don't know who she was, but she told me that, it affected her when we talked about LG, right? And, for the record, man, like, I knew LG personally. I want people to know that. I was getting money in the same neighborhood that he was getting money at. He was on Locust Street. I used to live next door to Tia and Tori when I was younger. So I know a bunch of them dudes, man, like personally know them. And I personally felt like LG was a good dude. You know what I mean? I knew Sherman Green. I knew them dudes. So, anytime that we had opened up wounds and people, had wrote to me like, oh man, that hurt my feelings to have to hear that. And I think that, and I apologize, because it wasn't meant to hurt people. The forum, like you said, is to save kids from life imprisonment and premature death in the streets. And what I mean by premature death in the streets, man, the mission is to stop these kids from killing each other, from getting killed over, a couple dollars, man, because let's just keep it real, even $50,000. Some people might be watching the video and think, man, that's a lot of money. But for real, man, that's petty money. To me, it's petty money, especially to lose your life over. So, man, I'm glad that we got the opportunity to, talk about this again. And again, man, I just apologize to anybody that the video, feelings might have been hurt or whatever. It wasn't intended for that. So.
No, I definitely wasn't intended. And I definitely apologize on my behalf too, man. I also got which I didn't know. I didn't know that Supreme was on his way to court, man. So he ended up going back to court. Things didn't pan out the way that he intended for them to pan out. So a lot of people wanted to place the blame on me and say that the video had something to do with Supreme not being able to give his time back, which is a complete lie. You know that, man. You know what I'm saying? You're a trained paralegal. You understand the court system. A lot of these people don't understand the court system, so they begin to assume, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't want Supreme back out on the street, man. They don't trust Supreme to be on the street. They don't want him back on the street. They gave him what the law was intended for him to receive, which was the time off for the 924Cs. You know what I'm saying? The rest of that stuff is up to the judge's discretion, man. It's up to the judge's discretion on whether or not he wants to give a person a second chance under that Second Chance Act, man.
So what people don't understand about the law is this, right? Things change with 924C. What is a 924C? It's possession of a weapon and furtherance of a drug trafficking crime and or a crime of violence. And the Supreme Court ruled that conspiracy to commit robbery is not a violent crime for 924C purposes. And that's why he came back to court. He ended up getting the time off for the 924Cs, but the life sentence was still there, and the statute allows the judge to do that. So like you said, it's in the judge's discretion. The judge could have did whatever he wanted to do. And, you know, hey, I mean, nothing against Supreme, man. Like I said, I was in jail with the dude, man. But like you said, man, the government, these people don't understand, man. This ain't like going downtown, man, in state court. You hire a lawyer and, you know, like back in the day, Tom Kakuzi and Dave Moranti, and you can, you know, get a good deal and all that type of stuff. That stuff don't happen in federal court. And 100%, man, the government probably doesn't want that dude on the street, man. And they're going to fight tooth and nail and do everything they can to stop that from happening because of the violence that was discussed at the trial. I mean,
because of the violence that was discussed at the trial, man. The trial was very graphic, man. We sat there, man, for 30 days, man. And there was no bit of that trial. There was never a day that anything was discussed where it wasn't total violence, man. That was the most violent thing, man, that a person had to sit through and endure, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember looking at some of the jurors' faces, man, like when some of the pictures was passed around or through some of the testimony. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, man. Like, you know what I mean? And you're looking at a person who was the head of that indictment at that time, man. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole trial was basically centered and geared towards him. You know what I mean? Everybody else who sat there, yeah, we all had our baggage with us. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say, you know what I mean, that some of that stuff didn't apply to me. You know what I mean? Because, you know, some of the things did apply to me. But the most violent individual, man, who sat there, man, amongst us all, man, was Supreme. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? A lot of the testimony was geared towards him, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they figured out, you know, they gave everybody else a break. You know what I mean? Who went to trial? You know, my co-defendant Terrence, he's on his way home. You know what I mean? About 3 or 4 more years. You know, I was able to get out. You know, but my situation was a little bit more different. I got some remedy from the crack laws. You know what I'm saying? But I also got some remedy from other situations. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the situations is just different, man. You know what I mean? So with Preem, man, you know what I mean? It's a hard pill to swallow, man. But the people have to realize that, you know, that's just somebody that they don't want them out, man.
I mean, that's the reality of it. And I want, you know, people should know that the video that we made, man, that we did, we talked, man, like we was kicking it in the yard, man, walking, spinning laps. But yeah, the video that we made had no bearing on it, man. The statute says he can get life, man. And who was the judge? Saragusa?
Exactly. So, I mean, you know how Saragusa is, man.
I mean, this guy was the dude that prosecuted Arthur Shawcross when he was a prosecutor.
Come on, man.
And that's what elevated him to end up becoming a federal judge. And people need to understand that, man, he's a judge, man. He plays no games. And you know what? That's a message directed to the kids in the street right now in Rochester because they got a crackdown with the feds, man. They brought the feds in. They got the ATF on the street. They got the FBI on the street. They got the police department, the sheriff's department. Hey, listen, man, you get arrested now with a gun, I promise you that bail reform stuff in New York, all that stuff don't mean nothing because they're going to take you over to the federal courthouse. And if you get Saragusa as a judge, he has no problem giving you a life sentence. I promise you that. So
he has no problem.
No problem.
No problem. No problem.
You know, I don't know if there's more you want to say on the subject, but if not, man, I want to talk to you a little bit about prison. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I did have one thing I wanted to say, man. I wanted to I had spoke with a friend of mine, man. He's a close family friend, man. Really like a relative. He really like a little cousin to me, you know what I'm saying? And he had brought another perspective of that situation to me, man, that I didn't really take into consideration. You know what I'm saying? And this point of view really affected me, man. It touched my heart, man. You know what I'm saying? But he lost his father, man. You know what I'm saying? His father was I don't know if you ever heard of Lamont, man. Lamont Barton, man.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, man, he was murdered, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is his son. This is his junior. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had a solid conversation, man. And he said, you know what, man? He said, he said, you got to understand that I'm younger than you, D. So your kids is in the age bracket with me. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, you know, I reached out and I was able to talk to some of the people, kids who names their fathers was mentioned and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I know them people like real good. And he was like, man, because you got to understand, Rochester is really a small city. You know, it's a small city. So everybody is sort of connected in some sort of way. You understand what I'm saying? And he was telling me, like, you know, how that video that we did affected some of the children of the victims, you know what I'm saying? And some of the ones that's still alive and some of the ones that's in prison, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said that it affected them in a different way. You know what I mean? So he was like, you know what I mean? He felt like nothing was wrong with the video. Like we didn't do anything wrong. You know, he understood what the video was intended to do. But he said some people may not have understood it. You know what I'm saying? So I know we can't go back and do the video over again, but I wish to a certain extent, man, we would have chewed the steak up before we fed it to the people. You understand what I'm saying, though, Chad?
I feel you.
Like maybe if we would have had this conversation first and then came out and did the video, maybe it would have been a different response. And then some people, I got some comments from some friends of mine, man, and from some people that I didn't even know who said, man, that shit was needed, man. Like you didn't do nothing wrong. Like people can't accept one part of the game and then accept the other, accept the parts that they want to accept without accepting the whole game for what it is, which is garbage, man. Which is garbage.
I hear you. Yeah, man, for the kids, man, and I'll give, you know, a message to them too, man. Like the kids that were affected, it was not intentional to hurt your feelings or to disrespect your father, your uncle, or your cousin, whoever we may have talked about, man. The video, man, for real is to change, man, what's going on in the city. Like, listen, man, I'm a white dude, man, and I'm from Ghost Town, man. I'm from the hood, man. My grandfather used to own the corner of Saxton and Broad right there. That's where I grew up. I grew up right there, man. It was in J Street, Sherman, Dewey Avenue. I mean, that was my hood, man. I mean, I went to prison, man, on a crack case. And I don't, like I say this all the time, man, I don't care what color you are, man. I'm from the hood. I taught more dudes and got more black dudes out of prison doing legal work for them and taught more black dudes to read and write in prison than anyone else. So all that color stuff and all that shit don't matter to me either, man. I care about people, man, in general. You know what I mean? And so, right. And like a lot of people don't know, man, like I'm that dude that sends T-Rock money and T-Real and Scoop just called me. Like I look out for dudes from the town, man, because I know they're in there struggling, man. So that's who I am as a person. But I mean, that's neither here nor there, man. The mission is to save kids from life imprisonment, man. Don't go down the road that DL went down. Don't go down the road that I went down. I mean, I had a 40-year sentence at the age of 24. What was your total sentence? 40 years too, right?
40 years, man. I had 40 years for the crack conspiracy and I had 20 years for a robbery conspiracy. They was both running concurrent, man. You heard? It was only by the grace of God I was able to get back and get a 20 years off, you know what I'm saying, with the crack situation, you know what I'm saying, which gave me a 20-year sentence period. And I served 17 years, man, of that 20-year sentence, man.
It's crazy because we got arrested around the same time. I did 17 years, 5 months, and 21 days, man. And
exactly.
I don't want to see people, man, end up in that position. Let's talk about prison, man.
Let's talk about it.
You've been in some dangerous places, right? Let's just keep it 100.
No doubt about it.
Seen people stabbed, seen people beat, I'm sure. I don't know if you've seen anybody killed. You were in Hazleton. I'm sure that.
Man, I'm going to tell you a story about the first person I seen murdered in prison, man. You heard?
Yeah.
And this is crazy, man. This is crazy, man. I was in Hazleton, which is in West Virginia. You know, Hazleton was one of the most dangerous prisons in the United States of America, man. That's where they killed Whitey Bogart, you heard? As soon as he got there, they cut his eyes out, murdered him, you know what I'm saying, or finished him, man. But that joint was averaging about 3 to 5 murders a year. You know what I mean? So
and how many stabbings a year would you say? Keep it real.
Man, at least 20 to 30 stabbings, man. If not more, man. The stabbings you can't even count, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's conflict every day, man. The tension, you can cut it with a knife, man. You know how it is in them USPs, man. When you wake up in the morning, man, you can feel it, man. You can smell it, man. You can smell it, man. It's so quiet. You know when it's getting ready to pop off because you can feel it, man. I can't even, it's hard to even explain it to somebody, man, who's never been in that situation before. For somebody who's never been there and experienced that atmosphere, That is a different atmosphere, man, than those mediums or those lows. I've never been to a low. I only been to a high, and I only been to a medium. You know what I'm saying? But it's a different ball game in the United States Penitentiary high, man. It's a different ball game, man.
Would you say it's just as dangerous as the streets at times?
I think it's more dangerous than the streets because you can't hide, man. You know, you cannot hide, man, from whatever's coming your way. You can't hide from it. You know what I mean? Unless you sign in and go to PC or whatever and live in the box or whatever. But you know, if the conflict is coming your way, you can't hide from it. You know what I mean? This is something that you have to address. It's not like you can disappear and go out the gates or Greece or Henrietta somewhere and lay up and wait till the beef is over or whatever. Nah, man, these places is dangerous, man. You know what I mean? If there's a beef, man, it's coming your way. You got to basically, you know what I'm saying, stand up and see what the issue is. You know what I mean?
100%, man. You know,
Yeah,
I never thought of it that way, but go ahead, man. Yeah, tell me about this, what you said, the first murder you ever seen in prison.
yeah. So I was on you know how the compounds is basically split up. So when I first went to Hazleton, I was one of the first people who opened it up, man. So it was basically like a free-for-all compound. Both sides was mingling till eventually they had shut that down. And if you lived on one side of the compound, you really didn't see the other people who lived on the other side. You know what I mean? You really had no contact with the other side, period. So before they implicated those rules, I was on the blue side, and I had a man of mine who was on the red side, and they was going to the store. And you know, ice cream is like a big thing in the joint, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's like one of my favorites, man. I love ice cream, man. You heard? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it over to the red side to get some ice cream before my man can get in the store. I'm trying to tell him, yo, grab me an ice cream out the store. You know what I mean? So I talked the police into letting me out. You know what I mean? Because they hadn't called my unit for child yet. So I'm like, yo, man, let me out. So he's like, I'll let you out, man. So he let me out. I run over to the red side. Lo and behold, I get over to the red side. So I get over to A unit and shit. I go to the door. You know what I mean? I run up in A unit. I'm looking for my man and shit. So I run up in this room. I'm chopping it up. I'm like, yo, when you go down there, you know what I'm saying? Grab me an ice cream. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna grab it for you. So I'm like, yo, all right, I'm gonna wait until y'all go down there, and then boom, you know, whatever. Because child was running at this time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, basically the compound is open. You know what I mean? And I can hang out in there for a minute. The police ain't really, you know, they lax or whatever over there. So I'm just over there chilling. So all of a sudden, man, something pops off in the unit, man. Man, they murdered, man, a Crip kid up in there, man, and left his body up under the table, man. So when I'm coming out of my man room, you know what I'm saying? We on the top tier. You got the day room right there. You know, all these penitentiaries is basically built the same. So I'm quite sure you was in Big Sandy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm quite sure, you know, in the top tier, they had a couple rooms up top, you know what I mean? Where we didn't have no TVs in our rooms. They eventually converted them over to like workout rooms and stuff like that. But before that, they was just rooms where dudes would go in, they would gamble, there was tables in there, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Man, I had to walk past the room to get past the steps. And you can see the dude laying up under the table, man, with the knife sticking out his chest, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's my word, man, to everything I love, man. You know what I mean? That was the first murder, man, that I saw in that place, man. And it was only by the grace of God, man, I was able to get down the steps. I was able to get out of the unit. But by the time I had got out of the unit, it was something else popping off on the compound. So when the deuces hit, you know what I'm saying? The guard dropped the bomb out the tower. Then you hear the sirens. They telling you to lay down. So I'm on the opposite side of the compound. You know what I mean? I'm laid out on the ground. You know what I mean? So they ended up taking us all in, locking us down. You know what I'm saying? And then they ended up finding the dude's body up in the spot, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me ask you this. You were in Hazleton in maximum security. You ever see dudes go in a cell to get someone and someone stands outside the door and holds the door so the dude can't get out?
Oh, man, I done seen it all, man. Yeah, man. Yeah.
You ever hear someone in there screaming to try to get out of the cell, man?
And they can't get out.
And they can't get out.
And they can't get out.
That's what I want people to understand, man. You might go to jail for selling drugs, man. You might be beefing with someone. You might end up in USP Lee. You might end up in Pollock, USP Pollock, or Hazleton, USP Hazleton, or Big Sandy. And you're getting a beef over something small, man. Over the microwave, man. Well, they took all the microwaves, but back then, man, over the washing machine, man. And now you got 2 or 3 dudes going to sell, they're on you and you can't get out. You're not strong enough because they got another dude holding the door, and they're just sitting there working.
The craziest thing about the federal penitentiary to me was this, though. And this is crazy because, you know, everything you classify by your number. You know, like our number was 055. So they automatically know we from Western New York. You know what I mean? That's Buffalo. That's Rochester. You know what I mean? And then you got, you know, New York City, which is 054, 052. You know what I mean? So those cars is who we deal with. So automatically when you step into the federal penitentiary, they looking at your number. And that's who you're going to see. Whoever the shot caller is for New York, whoever the shot caller is for the car. You understand what I'm saying? So I've seen some situations, man, where dudes walked in with numbers and they didn't know what was going on. And it was already drama that was happening with their people. And they automatically got caught up in the beef because their people was going on. Their people had beef going on. You know what I'm saying? So I seen some dudes come in, man, and get hurt up, man. And they didn't even know what was going on in the prison. But it was a beef with that number, with that specific number. So they ended up catching the backlash and ended up catching some drama and ended up getting hurt, man, because the beef was already going on with the number that he had on his shirt. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people don't even realize, man, how serious, man, the penitentiary is, man, just based on the number, man, that you have on your shirt, man.
See, a lot of people don't understand that, man. There could be a problem in another unit, and they could do some sign language from window to window and tell them, hey, man, hit these dudes from 055. And you don't even know, you're sitting there watching TV. Next thing you know, someone hits you upside the head with a lock. I mean, yeah. I've seen it. You don't even know what's going on. He killed the white dude in Pollock like that. Over a TV, man, he had nothing. The dude said, hey, the next white dude that comes in, I'm stabbing him. And he stabbed the dude and the dude died. He had 90 days left to go home. Kid that they called, they used to call him, man, one of them white rapper dudes, man. But dude ended up dead. He had 90 days to go home. And now he's done. He's dead, man. And he didn't even have, he wasn't even involved. Dude just stabbed him and killed him, man.
That's crazy.
Pollock was a dangerous place too, man.
Yeah, Pollock was dangerous.
Very dangerous.
I met a lot of people from Pollock, man. They said Pollock was crazy at one point in time, man. Like it was so dangerous, man, that it was crazy, man. They talking about a prison, man, that was on lockdown, man, the majority of the whole year, man. Like sometimes they would only be out for maybe like a month, man, out of a whole year, man. Other than that, the whole joint was locked down.
Still going on like that. So look, man, on that last video, I didn't ask you a question that I usually ask everybody because you had dropped a couple jewels anyway, right? I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, man. Right. Do you regret some of the things that they allege you did? Keep it real, man.
Man, I regret it all, man. You know what I'm saying? I regret it all. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about, man. They don't talk about the after effects of the crimes that you commit, man. You know what I mean? The post-traumatic stress disorder part. You know what I mean? The having a hard time sleeping. You know what I mean? The regret that you feel. You know what I'm saying? But some people say that they don't experience that, man. But I think it's a lie, man. You know what I mean? I think as you evolve, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember meeting somebody, man, it was years ago. Matter of fact, we was in Batavia at the time. And you know how they used to have a lot of those immigration dudes would be coming from New York State prison system, and then they would be deporting them back to their homes. And I ran into this one dude, man. He was from Trinidad. Good dude, man. And we ended up linking over Scrabble. You know what I'm saying? I was like a real Scrabble lover, man. You know what I'm saying?
And you used to play ping pong with that dude.
Exactly. If you remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Used to have the dreads.
Yep, I know exactly.
So we had a real ill conversation. He had just did like 22 years. And I tell him, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm on my way. I told him how much time I had. And you know what I mean? I was getting ready to go do this time. And he was like, man, you know, your situation will change. You know what I'm saying? And you'll come home. You know what I'm saying? He said, man, just make sure you do everything you can do in order to come home and rectify your affairs. But he said, when you come home, if you don't look back on your past and say, oh, damn. He said, man, you haven't been corrected. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, I got some days, man, where I look back on some of the shit that I did, man, in those streets, man. And I mean, it's disgusting, man. It leaves a real bitter taste in my mouth, man. You understand what I'm saying, though, Chad, man?
Yeah, because you're
it really does, man. It really does, man. Because because, man, I know that it was all senseless, man. And I knew there was really no reason. And then I think about it, man, a lot of us was friends, man. A lot of the dudes that got hurt, man, a lot of the flipping on individuals, man, a lot of us was friends, man. We knew each other, man, since we was young, man. But we had relationships that was built on foolishness. It was built on bullshit. And if you don't have a solid relationship with an individual, man, that's built on something positive, those relationships don't last, bruh. They don't last. They're not real friendships.
Was there ever a time, man, when, because, you know, we had talked about Preem and Ted and tell him, hey, I'm going to go get this weed. I'll be right back. And he shot him or whatever, allegedly. Were there ever times you thought, man, maybe some of them dudes were plotting on you?
Hell yeah.
Is that something that kept you up at night?
Man, there's plenty times, man, I felt like, man, these dudes could hit me at any given moment. And I think it was times where they probably was plotting on hitting me. Because I know it was some times where I was plotting on hitting some dudes that I was dealing with. You know what I mean? Because some shit that I felt like they did that I just I wasn't feeling. You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
And it could be the smallest things though, Chad. The smallest things, man, could change a relationship, man. You know, I think Nas said it best, man. You know what I'm saying? We grew up together, copping the raw, but things changes, the love changes, and best friends become strangers. You know what I mean? And that's really how it is, though, bro. That's really how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? And I look at me and Divine's relationship, man. We had a solid relationship. He reached out to me too after the video, man, and encouraged me to keep doing what I was doing, man. And you know, we sent each other a series of texts, man. And I speak about him a lot, man, because at the end of the day, man, regardless of what happened with that case, I don't give a fuck about none of that stuff no more, man. Really, I don't care nothing about it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm judging an individual on what he's doing now. You know what I mean? Opposed to what he did yesteryear, man. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, we had a series of texts going on, and, you know, he was telling me a lot of people was calling him and trying to get the Flames, you know, fanned up and, you know, trying to but he was like, man, I ain't no young 20-year-old dude. He said, man, I understood what that video was all about. And at the end of the day, D, you ain't did nothing wrong. And that's public information. You stood at that trial. You went to that trial for 30 days. That's your story. And it's not like I'm talking about somebody that I don't know. All the individuals I'm talking about are contemporaries of mine. These are individuals that I faced that experience with. So I got the right to talk about it. And they have the right to talk about it too. Nobody can't tell me, man, what I can talk about, man, and what I can't talk about.
Yeah, but you know what, man? You talk about what you want to talk about, but the goal, man, again, man, is to stop kids from doing the things that, you know, that you might have done in your past or things that I did so that they don't have to face the consequences. So they don't have,
and that's a fact,
you know, so they don't have to experience, you know, like the commissary fund, you know, trying to get someone to send them money for soap. And, you know, that's the part, like, that's real, man, that going to bed hungry at night. Because when you get to prison, man, there's nights, man, where you go to bed hungry because someone didn't send you some money, man. And everybody that goes to prison, 90% of the people that go to prison are broke, man. They ain't got nothing.
Ain't got nothing, man.
Man, I don't want to see, man, these kids go to prison and be hungry at night, not have no socks, man, because someone stole your laundry out of the wash machine or your laundry bag didn't come back. That's the real shit, man. And when you sit in your cell at night like, damn, man, someone stole my clothes. I ain't got no clothes to change into. And the police don't give a shit. So right. Tomorrow you can't even take a shower because you ain't got no clothes. It might take you 2-3 days to get some clothes, man.
Exactly.
Man, fuck all that scared straight stuff, man. This shit is real, man. It's raw, man. This is the part that really matters.
That's a fact.
The one thing that I didn't ask you, man, before, you know, because we're going to close here, but the one thing that I didn't ask you that I wanted to ask you is, what would you tell the kids today, man? Give them a message, man. Because you live that life, man. That shit they're rapping about and all that shit, man, them dudes, man, that ain't really about it. You really live that life, man. The life that these kids are living right now, you lived it, man. So what would you say to them, man? What would you say to your younger self? What would you say to the kids right now in the street that it might be doing or plotting on doing the things that, you know, you allegedly did in your past?
What I would tell them, man, is to find a way, man, to talk to somebody about how you feeling. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be afraid, man, to talk to somebody about what you're experiencing, man. You know what I'm saying? Because peer pressure is real, man. You know what I'm saying? And we both know and understand that the rap music, man, is so influential, man, that it is pathetic, man. You know what I'm saying? And they only giving you one side of the game. They're not telling you the opposite side of the game. They're not telling you the consequences of carrying a gun. They're not telling you the consequences of committing a robbery. They're not telling you the consequences of using drugs. You understand what I'm saying? They're not telling you none of that. So what I would try to do, man, is just tell them, man, you know what I'm saying, to find somebody, man, to talk to, man. Find a good person in your community that you can talk to, somebody that can help you, man. Help you further your education, get a trade, you know what I'm saying? Learn how to do something, man. You know, Chad, man, I went today, man. I had a job interview, man, for associate production manager position out here, man, with a restoration and a remediation company, man. And I ended up getting the job, man. You heard? Now this job started off, man, with damn near $50,000 a year. You heard? And that's not even including benefits. That's not even including compensation and bonuses. You know what I'm saying? So the lady said, man, you'll end up making way more money than you expect just on this base salary. You know what I mean? But the job started off with damn near $50,000 a year. You heard? But if I would have made these decisions early on in my life, man, and I would have got the certifications that I did once I came home, you know what I'm saying, and put myself in a position to live a productive life in society, man, I could have had a hell of a life, man. I could have had a hell of a life, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the overall thing is that you're caught up in the streets now. You infatuated with the glamour and the glitz. And yeah, a lot of stuff come with that stuff, man. Good cars. You're gonna mess with all the women you want to mess with. You're gonna wear all the fine jewelry you want to do. But you can do that doing something positive, man. Because I've been living out here, man, for close to 3 years now, man, just working, man. And I got a vehicle. You know what I mean? I got a nice vehicle. You know what I mean? I got a nice wife, a beautiful wife. I live in a nice home. You understand what I'm saying? And I've been doing that, man. And I keep money in my pocket. I got credit cards in my pocket. You know what I mean? I can go out and buy whatever I want to buy when I want to buy it. So my thing to the youth is that find somebody in your community, man, that you can talk to about what you're experiencing, man. Because a lot of times they're just going through things, man, and they don't have nobody to talk to, man. They don't have nobody to talk to, man, about it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good message, man, because, like you said, if you'd have done this years ago, man, you might have been making $200,000 a year and living even better.
And who knows what I'd have been making, man. Now I'm 47 years old, and I really got to work for another 19 years to get what I want. But who's to say, man? I'd have been 47 right now. Maybe I could have retired at 55. I could have had me 20 or 25 years in on a gig somewhere or my own business. You know what I'm saying? Doing what I do right now. You know what I mean? In this field, you know?
And you would have left 17 years of heartache, man, of loneliness and depression and, going hungry. All that stuff would have been out the window. That would have never happened, man. And that's the key, man. So listen, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. And once again, man, I apologize specifically to the lady. I'm not going to say your name on here, but I specifically apologize to you about the stuff about LG because you had reached out to me. And I mean that. I apologize to anyone that, was affected adversely by the video. But please see that the message is to try to help people, man. I don't really make no money off this stuff. Some people might think that I do. I really don't. I do this stuff because I care. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm doing a video. I worked all day long, but I'm doing this video because I care, man. Because I know what it's like to be locked in a cell and be lonely.
And yo, I got one more thing too, man. One of my mans had reached out to me and I told him I was going to give him a shout out, man. They got a program, right?
Yeah.
And it's called Scattered Seeds of Hope. And it's a non-for-profit for youth and ex-felons. It's a community-based program, but they mainly function in the NYC, but they trying to get the program upstate to Rochester because both of these cats is from Rochester. One of them is my man, that's Mike Greer, and the other one is China Boy. China Boy did like 25 years in prison. You know what I'm saying? He's from around my way, but they got this program, man, and they really trying to do something, man. So you got a lot of people, man, that's coming home, man, and they really giving back to the penitentiary, man. So once again, man, the program is Scattered Seeds of Hope, man. You know what I mean? And they take donations at Cashapp $SSOH 2021, man. You know what I mean? So it's a good program. People can go on, Google it, check it out. You know what I mean? But the program is geared to try to help, felons coming home, man, and just trying to get them job placement. You know what I'm saying? Housing. You know what I mean? Just trying to get them in a good environment so they can make some good decisions, bro.
That's what's up. Just tell the people, man, check that out. Scattered Seeds of Hope. Definitely check that out, man. And with that, DL, man, I'm going to close the show, man. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.